Welcome to the Brain Alpha. Today, we're digging into something I think a lot of us can relate to, thanks to some awesome insights from creator Joey Schweitzer. We're tackling that feeling, that sense that life has just gotten a little bit boring. You know exactly what I'm talking about, right? You're doing all the things you're supposed to do. You go to work, you do the chores, you repeat, but something just feels off. Like you're stuck on a hamster wheel and that spark you used to have is just gone. And you start to wonder, wait, is this really it?
Okay, so let's get into it. The good news is, according to Schweitzer's breakdown, that feeling of monotony isn't just you being weird, and it's not some random mood swing. It actually stems from two very specific, very common disconnects in how we're all living our lives these days.
So the first reason is a huge one. We've basically been tricked into believing that a good life is just this constant series of amazing, exciting events. And because of that, we're fundamentally not living in the now. Now check this out, because this chart really puts it all into perspective. We spend so much of our time scrolling through social media, and what do we see? We see a constant stream of everyone's 1% moments. The epic vacations, the perfect weddings, the big promotions. And we start to think that's what a normal life should look like, totally forgetting that our own lives, and theirs too, are actually made up of the 99%, the simple, day-to-day routine. And this part is just so important to remember. Even the people we look up to the most, the famous entrepreneurs, the movie stars, their lives are not a nonstop highlight reel, not even close. They are just as ruled by routine as we are. The vast majority of their life is just eating, sleeping, working, and dealing with everyday problems, just like the rest of us. The idea of a constantly exciting life, it's pretty much a fantasy.
And this quote just nails the mindset shift we all need to make. A truly fulfilling life isn't about chasing those super rare 1% moments. It's about learning how to build a life where the 99%, your actual daily experience, is good. It's about focusing on making today a good day.
So if the secret is to make our daily lives better, why do our daily habits so often leave us feeling kind of empty? Well, that brings us right to the second major reason life feels boring. Our actions are often completely and totally disconnected from our real, long-term goals. We usually think of bad habits as stuff like eating too much junk food or biting your nails, but this is a much deeper way of looking at it. A bad habit is really any action, even one that seems fun at the time, that isn't actually aligned with the person you want to become. And it's that misalignment, that gap, that's the real source of that hollow, I just wasted my time feeling. Let's look at this fantastic example because it makes it so clear. The action itself, watching Netflix, is exactly the same in both columns, but the intent behind it changes everything. If you're just watching to numb out, to escape, to kill time, it feels empty. But if you're watching with the English subtitles on because your goal is to learn the language, suddenly that same exact action has a purpose. It stops being empty and starts feeling fulfilling. Okay, so we've laid out the problems, right? We're chasing an illusion and our habits don't have a real purpose. So, how in the world do we fix it? Let's get to the good part, the solution. And it's a really simple 3-part system for building a life that actually feels good to live. So here they are, the 3 rules. They are super simple, they build on each other, and most importantly, they are designed to get around all those common traps that make us fail when we try to make some huge, life-altering change all at once. Now, this is probably the single most important idea in this whole system. We get it completely backward. Most of us wait around to feel motivated before we do something. But the truth is, action has to come first. The tiny action is the spark that actually creates the fire of motivation, not the other way around. And this is how you get started. Forget trying to hit the gym for an hour. Forget trying to write a 3,000-word essay. Your only job is to start with what we'll call a level 1 action. We're talking something so ridiculously easy, you literally can't say no. You want to start writing? Your only goal is to open your laptop. That's it. You did it. That's the win for today. All right, so you've managed to create that tiny little spark with a level 1 action. But how do you turn that into a real self-sustaining fire? It's all about building momentum, which brings us to rule number 2. The crucial point here is that you have to celebrate those tiny level 1 actions. Seriously, did you open the laptop? Give yourselves a mental heck yeah. Did you put on your running shoes? Acknowledge it. It might sound silly, but your brain is pretty simple. When you praise a small win, you get a little hit of dopamine, which makes you want to do it again. It builds your self-esteem, and most importantly, it helps you avoid that awful spiral of self-loathing that happens when we set huge goals and then fail. And this is the final piece of the puzzle. This is where it all comes together. Progressive overload is a concept straight from the gym. You don't walk in on day one and try to lift 200 pounds, right? Of course not. You start with something light, and as you get stronger, you slowly, gradually add more weight. We're going to apply the exact same logic to our habits. Once opening the laptop feels automatic, maybe you try writing for just 1 minute. Once that's easy, you go for 5. You just gradually increase the challenge as you get stronger and more comfortable. So let's just do a quick recap of this whole powerful framework. The reason your life feels boring is because 1, we're chasing the 1% highlight reel instead of making our 99% daily life better. And 2, our habits are totally disconnected from our goals. The solution? Start with tiny, level 1 habits to create motivation. Praise every single small victory to build momentum, and then slowly increase the difficulty over time using progressive overload. And ultimately, this whole conversation comes down to one simple but really profound question. When you take a hard look at your daily routine, at your habits, at your goals, are they really yours? Or are they just a reflection of what you think you should be doing based on somebody else's highlight reel? Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe to the channel, give us a thumbs up, and help us build the hype. See you in the next video. Bye-bye!